Okay, remember that perimeter is the distance around. So even with a triangle, the distance around will be all three sides added together. So A plus B plus C. So in the instance of the triangle we have right here, it will be 6 feet plus 6 feet plus 4 feet. 6 plus 6 plus 4 would be 16. So the perimeter of that triangle will be 16 feet. Now, remember rectangle area, it's still the amount of space inside, but triangles are a little different than rectangles. Let's look at this rectangle we have right here. We know that we find the area by doing length times width. So if we cut this rectangle down the middle, now we have two triangles. So a rectangle can be made up of two triangles. Therefore, the area of a triangle can be found by doing the same thing, length times width or base times height, which is pretty much the same thing, and then dividing it by 2 or multiplying it by 1/2 because it's like half of the rectangle. So the tricky part is you got to know which one's the height. You got to know how tall the triangle is. It can't just be one side of it. So look, for instance, at this triangle we used. We don't know how tall it is. We don't have a height. But on these examples here, there's several heights. What you have to look for is a right angle. So in this case, look how it makes an L. The base and the height go together to make an L here. They have a right angle. And this one, where there's not one, you have to know how tall it is. So it's a drawn in imaginary line to show how tall it is. But still, the base and the height go together to make an L. On this one, if you went up, you can't find the height. You have to go over here outside the triangle and make an imaginary height line. So still, the base and the height go together to make an L. So let's look at a couple examples. And this one, look for your L. So here's the base, 5, and the base and the height are perpendicular. Got your L there. So the base and the height are 5 and 6. So you find the area by doing 1/2 times the base times the height. So in this case, there's lots of ways you can do this, little tricks. We can do 5 times 6 is 30, and then half of that is 15. Or you can just take half of one of the numbers. I can take half of 6 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to get the same answer in either way I go. I can go ahead and multiply the two numbers and then divide by 2. Or I can just go ahead and divide this one by 2 and then multiply the other one. Either way will give me the same thing. But it's area, so it's square centimeters. Centimeters square. All right, now let's look at this one. Here's our L. The base and the height go together to make the L. So we've got 4 and 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Half of 16 is 8. So the area of this one will be 8 square centimeters. Here's our L here. And we have a decimal this time. Here's our L. 8 and 3.5. Well, see, there's where the tricks come in. I think if I have 8 and 3.5, it's going to be a lot easier for me to use the little numbers. So let me show you. I've got 8 and I've got 3.5. Well, I can find half of 8 real easy. Half of 8 is 4. So now I've only got 3.5 times 4. That would be 20. Carry your 2 would be 14. And don't forget how to do your decimals. You've got one decimal place, so you need one decimal place. So your answer for that one would be 14 square centimeters. And notice it gave us another measurement up here, but that's not important for finding the area. It's an extra number that we don't need. Here we're looking for our L. The base and the height have to be perpendicular, and there they are. So 6 and 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Half of 30 is 15. The 10, extra information, we would use it for certain measures, but not for area. We don't need to know that number in order to find the area. So find your L, what's perpendicular, multiply those two together, and then divide it by 2 or multiply by 1/2, whichever way you want to look at it, same operation. Or pick one of your numbers and take half of it first.